Listen, lady, if you don't stop sucking that thumb of yours, it'll fall off. Now stop it. Mary, sitting cosy in the chair, defiantly tugged the thumb from her mouth, whilst keeping her gaze fixed firmly on the TV. Her mother, seated on the couch, looked up from her knitting and persisted, intent not only on winning the battle, but at all costs winning the war. You're 9-year-old now, Mary. You're a big lassie, so you've got to stop this dirty habit. Just think of the germs you're putting in your mouth every time you do it. You'll kill yourself. Oh, Mum, I'm not putting a gun in my mouth, said Mary, now sitting upright to face her aggressor. No, but you'd be well doing that, wouldn't you? Word for word, it had all been repeated so many times in the past few years. I'm going up to my room, said Mary, launching herself off the chair. What for? Said her mother. To get ready for the Gildry, said Mary, as she stormed from the room. And don't slam that door, lady. The village main street was wintry, dark and quiet. I'm not going to stop sucking my thumb for her, grumbled Mary, as she walked home from the Gildry in her blue uniform and cap. The street lights had already been on for a good few hours on this foggy, freezing December evening. She started blowing out her breath to look at it in the chill. Again and again, she puffed out clouds to see if she could make each one bigger than the last. He's gone out that bloody dug. Mary looked up at the two men on the opposite side of the street, not knowing which one had called out. She then followed their gaze. They cursed the driver as the car sped away, and then walked onto the road and picked up a limp, golden body and placed it on the pavement under the orange glow of a streetlight. She crossed the road and walked over to where the two men were standing, over a dog. One of the men said, "We'd better go and tell him." "Aye," replied the other, and both of them left. She stood staring at the small red stain on the side of the dog's beautiful head, then saw its belly heave deeply in and out. Filled with hope, she knelt down beside it and gently placed both hands on its warm body, stroking its soft golden coat, and looked into its still, open eyes. "Please don't die. I don't want you to die." Tears started to roll down her cheeks, pleading with the dog not to die. She looked around, but she was all alone. Choking back her tears, she spoke as if to the dog itself. "Listen, God, if you let it no die, I'll stop sucking my thumb." She couldn't spit the words out quickly enough, and a smile almost appeared as she lifted a hand to wipe her tear-sodden face. "There, God, I'll stop sucking my thumb." Relieved, as if that was the final say on the matter. The two men returned, without Mary even noticing, and had with them a sad-looking white-haired old man who was mournfully shaking his head. "Oh, Sheila," he cried as he came closer. "Oh, my Sheila." Mary thought he had a kind face and would have been good to the dog. She looked at him and said convincingly, "It's all right. She'll be fine." "Look, Hen," said the man, and motioned towards the still animal. She turned around to face the dog, still with a faint smile on her face, not noticing at first, then seeing. Sheila wasn't moving anymore. The heaving from her belly had stopped. Shocked, she started to sob again. "But I promised God that I would." The old man lifted the dog and said, "She's dead now. Away you go up the road. Thanks." Mary watched as he walked away, cradling his pet in his arms, with its legs and head hanging, swaying limply, lifelessly. On the slow walk home, she didn't think of God or of sucking her thumb. All she could think of was that she would rather have died and the dog had lived. Mary gently closed the front door of her house. "Is that you hame, Mary?" called her mother, still knitting. "Well, was the Gildry good?" "It was all right," trying her best to look unfazed by the night's events. "You're late. What kept you?" "Oh, just yapping," replied Mary convincingly. "Right. Got up and get changed out your uniform?" "OK," said Mary, still shell-shocked. She was just about to turn and walk up the stairs when her mother added, "And don't be sooking that thumb of yours when you're up there, lady." Mary ignored the comment at first and moved towards the stairs, then stopped, turned back to face her mother, and quietly and very deliberately said, "I don't sook my thumb." Her mother looked up, disbelievingly. The clicking of the knitting paused. "You've stopped all of a sudden then. What's wrong? Your pal's making a fool of you?" "No," said Mary defiantly. "I promised I'd dug."